Dr. Stephen Strange casts a forbidden spell that opens the doorway to the multiverse, including alternate versions of himself, whose threat to humanity is too great for the combined forces of Strange, Wong, and Wanda Maximoff. That's why we're talking about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness today on Geeks with Kids. Apparently there was an intro that Brent wrote. Did I miss that in Facebook? I didn't see it either.
You'd have to go on Facebook to find those.
I was busy today, so I didn't really get to view the whole chat. Anyway, so this is Geeks with Kids, the bi-weekly geeky podcast from a parenting point of view. I'm your host Eric, and joining me this week is David, Hawk, Steve, Marcus, and Marcus. That's the one I should have said. How's it going, guys?
Good, man.
Pretty good.
Man, my brain is fried. I had a long day. I'm sure you guys did too.
Sorry.
But this week we are talking about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. This movie just released on Friday. What was the date there?
Yeah, Friday. Yeah.
May something? May 6th? Yeah. 6. So we are past the spoiler window. We are gonna spoil the shit out of this movie.
Are we not gonna hold off to a certain point, or are we just gonna go right in?
No. We're gonna do what we do every week, and that is talk about what's good, what we're liking this week. So what are we obsessing on? Let's start with David. What are you liking this week? I stumped you already. Wow.
No. Harcraft and I put in a new Intel SSD as my boot drive on Thursday. Thursday before we saw Doctor Strange, and so I got a 3060 installed now, which is nice, and I got a new phone. I finally imported a Sony. So I have an unbroken line of Sony phones for the last 5 phones, and it's awesome. It's a 21x9, I think. It's like,
whoa, that is a long phone.
Yeah. It's it just feels great in the hand. It's great. It's the first time we've had. My phone is like 5 years old. My phone's like 5 years old, so it wasn't. It's the first phone I haven't broken, basically, to have to get a new phone. So I was like, yeah, but it's pretty old. It runs like Android 10, and this is going to be on 12 soon. So it's pretty great. Just teching up before I start class tomorrow. First day of class tomorrow. Yeah. My break is over.
That being said, we're not gonna have D&D tomorrow because Dave is lined up with classes on Tuesdays. We're gonna try and find the night, maybe Saturday. I think is what we're
discussing
towards.
Options.
We'll figure it out. We'll be back in a couple weeks, in a week or two.
I still think we should do it before Dave's class on Wednesday.
Yeah, no.
In the morning D&D.
In the morning,
I mean,
roll in a bed.
Roll for initiative.
I can do initiative.
Monsters or something.
I throw the dice at the wall because I'm so fucking tired.
I'm not picking that up.
Awesome. And then you have to throw that the pun dice. I'm sure the puns run harder in the morning when we're tired.
We're not doing Monday. We're not doing Wednesday mornings anymore. That's
all right. Hawk, what are you liking this week?
Actually, just catching up on a show I watched the first season of when it came out on Blu-ray years ago, and I could never find it after that, even though there were 2 awesome more seasons. Legion on Disney Plus right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. It's the first season. Like I said, I did a rewatch. I had forgotten most of it, and that rewatches are very important with this show because of the way it's filmed.
Nice.
Yeah. For those that don't know, it deals with David Haller from Marvel Comics. You guys obviously know who he is. And this show tackles him at the low point in his life where he's committed. Everybody thinks he's schizophrenic, but obviously that's not the case. It's done by Noah Hawley. Have you guys watched the Fargo TV series and that? He was the showrunner for those seasons.
Nice.
Yeah, a great showrunner, director, writer. He has a style that's pretty much all his own. So
cool.
Yeah,
that's on,
I remember watching a little bit. Oh, sorry.
That's on Disney, right?
Yeah,
because that's technically a Fox show, right?
It was a Fox show. I think it's FX or whatever.
Yeah.
A couple different divisions in that. So,
but technically, it's under the X-Men umbrella. So whoever licensed it, it's still owned eventually by Fox. So, interesting.
Yeah, and now Disney.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you know, when people were talking about what was it, the New Mutants, and they were talking about, oh, we're gonna make this horror movie. I was just thinking like, yeah, no, man, more Legion, right? But movie style.
Mhm.
That was just my immediate thought, right? Because to me, the initial episodes of Legion were just so like creepy, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it keeps going that way, but I could really see the potential there.
I only saw the first season.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little, probably a little less on the horror side with this season. Although there are some really terrifying episodes, and
Right.
there is one episode in the second season. It's not a spoiler in that, but basically the entire episode is devoted simply to divergent timelines that David exists in, and that where different paths unfolded for him.
They did Loki before Loki.
Yeah,
that sounds sweet.
One when one he's just like a homeless guy ranting in the streets and that, and another he's the richest man in the world.
To be fair, that's what I sort of wanted to see in Multiverse of Madness, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
I really should watch that show. I really liked it. I liked it better than that other mutant show they did on Fox. I don't remember what it was.
The Runaways?
The Gifted.
Yeah.
Runaways was really good.
Runaways isn't mutants. Yeah. That's
actually, I gotta say, for what I saw, The Gifted, actually, it was not bad for a network TV show.
I got
Did
bored.
Did anybody watch Cloak and Dagger?
Yeah, it was
That's
good.
another one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're not mutants though.
No, they're
really.
but they are super powered.
They are.
They're sort of like a yin yang superhero team.
Yeah.
They explain it in the TV show. It was neat because that was on a weird network in the States, but it was that and Runaways both on the same network, so they were allowed to cross over, which they do in the comic book as well. So it was nice to see.
Well, they're all younger characters, so it worked out well.
Runaways is one of my favorite like comic book series. So
did a good job on it.
Yeah. Even the Joss Whedon run was pretty good. Even though it was a little bit weirder. Check it out. Yay. BKV, I think, did that group about the children of supervillains who find out that their parents are supervillains and then sort of run away and become superheroes. It's neat. Me and Steve went to the premiere of that in Toronto. Yeah. Anyway, Steve, let's go with your what's good. What's good? What?
I don't know. I'm always changing shit these days. Did I tell you guys that I've been doing like a deep dive into Fu Manchu recently? Has that ever come up?
I believe that was brought up at some point.
I think that was in D&D when you told us.
Oh, okay. So I don't even know why. I guess just because the world's kind of gone to shit. And I don't know. It just occurred to me. I was like, there was this Yellow Peril thing way back when. And I was just kind of curious about it because everyone knows Fu Manchu, that it's some sort of villain and he's got a mustache, right? And that's kind of it. And I knew that Christopher Lee at one point played Fu Manchu.
Yeah, the most Asian man ever.
Well, that's the thing, right? I'm like, okay, whatever, right? It was the 70s. But I'm like, you know what? I would give Christopher Lee a chance. And I have to say, he kicks ass as Dr. Fu Manchu. I believe he has 4 doctorates from So so that's just kind of my like weird thing right now. Like I just got like 11 of the novels. I've found all the movies. There's 5 Christopher Lee movies. There's 1 Boris Karloff movie. Fu Manchu is fascinating to me just simply because obviously it's very racist and very dated. But there's actually a lot going on there, and the character established a lot of tropes that went on to be absorbed into James Bond movies. Like Dr. No is basically a clone of Fu Manchu. Ming the Merciless exists largely because of Fu Manchu, and the Mandarin, and in fact Shang-Chi originally in Marvel Comics, I don't know if people know this, but Marvel actually licensed a lot of film characters from Universal. And they got Dracula. So Dracula, literally the real Dracula showed up in Marvel at one point. But Fu Manchu was actually a villain in the Marvel Universe briefly. And Shang-Chi originally was the son of Fu Manchu. Now, obviously, the license ran its course and they were like, oh, okay, this is super racist now. So they got rid of all that. They changed it, right? But the Mandarin is basically the Fu Manchu. And so is the new version in the new movie in a way, right? Because he's just like this Asian warlord who is trying to dominate the world with agents everywhere. So
I totally forgot. Yeah. Nicolas Cage did a Fu Manchu movie. No, it wasn't a movie, but it was like he played the character. Yeah. There's also a Peter Sellers one, which is the last
official movie. But yes, Nicolas Cage was the last official Fu Manchu of all the. But anyway, I don't know. I guess it's just a weird academic curiosity. I've just been I don't know. I guess there's a lot of vitriol going on right now, and I was just sort of curious, like, what are the legs on this thing, and what was behind it all, and so I don't know. Anyway.
You just reminded me that John Wayne once played Genghis Khan.
Yeah. So
he didn't want to, but he wanted that movie to get made.
Christopher Lee, Fu Manchu, that's like compared to John Wayne's Genghis Khan. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, like I would take Christopher Lee playing an Asian any day over John Wayne. All right, let's just leave it at that. Anyway, so that's my dumb takeaway right now. I'm just delving into racism. It's fantastic. I love it.
Yep. All right, Marcus. How to go on?
I mean, I got nothing that can top Fu Manchu. Definitely not. Steve did his homework.
It's just my obsession for this week. It'll be something different next week.
Yep, that's awesome. Nothing too amazing over here. Just been very busy with work and busy with life and everything. So nothing much new going on. I have started watching, like, me and Chris watched the new episodes of Grace and Frankie. And so, yeah, we've been watching that. And it's a show that we've been watching from the beginning and have loved ever since. So the
final season, right?
Final season, yeah. And it feels like it's a nice, like, they're coming to a nice wrap up for it and everything. So I think it's a good one. But yeah, it's just a fun show. We've always liked it. We love the cast of characters. I've gotten to know a lot of, like, the actors in their, like, real lives, like, just through their stories and, like, their podcasts and stuff. And it's just kind of interesting to see them now still playing these characters and stuff. It's just kind of cool.
That cast is incredible. Like,
I mean, like, I will forever ever love Lily Tomlin. Like, she's just amazing at everything she does. Sam Waterston, Martin Sheen, like, they're just fantastic, and I love their characters in this show. And it's just nice to see them breaking, like, the stereotypical kind of thing that they were used to doing. It's just awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God. I picture, whenever I watch The West Wing, I can't disassociate Martin Sheen from it now. So every time I see them together, I'm just like, oh my God, I know where the president is going after he retires.
I know what you mean, Eric. Whenever I think of Martin Sheen, I always picture him in his underwear dancing naked in front of a mirror.
Oh my God. It is a great show. You should check it out on Netflix. I didn't get into it when it first started. Megan actually pulled me into it, but she definitely has been watching that last season without me, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll watch it by myself sometime.
Yeah. It's easy to binge. We get through it pretty quick. Like, we actually have to pause and, like, say, let's save a little bit for tomorrow, because I think we're on our last, like, 2 episodes and then we'll be done.
I feel you. I know that whenever I get episodes, I tend to binge them all. Like, when I watched Arcane I think that was the last time we talked, I did them all in like one day, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Now I want
That's
more.
a good time, though. That's a good time.
It is true. That is a good. I'm also gonna do a show for my What's Good, even though I now have an RGB mouse pad, which I never thought I would ever do. But there was a place right around the corner that is selling, like, Amazon pallets of shit. And they're like, here, on this day it's $15 for anything in the store, and this day, and then it goes down in price until they restock. So I got this mouse pad for stupid cheap.
I'm so glad I don't live near you, Eric. Like I wrote to you privately, knowing you costs me a lot of money.
This is true for everyone who knows me.
It's very true, you son of a bitch.
I'm sorry, Marcus. I saw that so on Friday, I think it was Friday, they announced, no, May the 4th. They announced that they're re-releasing the Darth Vader helmet, but a more screen-accurate version.
Finally.
With the red lenses. They actually took this model from the upcoming ObiWan series. And then as soon as I saw it, I sent it to Marcus.
And it's got the actual, like, neck cowl part to it and everything. And it's like everything I had a beef with the one that we bought.
Oh,
they fixed,
no.
And it just pisses me off because, like, this one is, like, it's just like a glossy plastic black kind of thing.
Well,
like,
maybe you can sell the one you have now to fund the other one, because some
you can
idiot
show.
won't know the difference, and you will. So
yeah. But at least this way, I can show the two difference like right there in front of everybody.
Good?
They can kind of see it.
Bad.
Good and bad. Because apparently this one, like they have it's not just black. It's like the silverized, which is accurate to the real film version of the helmet.
Just imagine Marcus at like a dinner party and a bunch of like adults are like, and
so like when they
go to that dinner
Oranges
party,
and
I want to be
things.
part of that. I want to see these. I totally want to see that. Please invite me over for dinner.
did that one because
My-
more
my-
inaccurate.
my neighbors, all my neighbors that live around here, they come over for a drink or whatever, and all of a sudden they come down here to use the bathroom, and they walk past like all of these, and they, and then they just sit there and go like, "Oh, you like Star Wars?" I'm like, "Yes, I do."
like.
And,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, "Let me educate you on what is great in Star Wars and what has been fucked up."
I'll keep my mouth shut for now.
They started production on Ahsoka today. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I saw that.
Saw
yeah.
that.
So that is exciting. Speaking of
Dave Filoni's cowboy hat sitting on the director's chair.
speaking of things that hopefully they won't fuck up with Dave Filoni in the chair. So, yeah, that's awesome. I do appreciate that. My what's good or my yum is not Star Wars but Star Trek, which is also a show I really like. It's Strange New Worlds. It's the newest Star Trek series. It premiered last Thursday, and this is a prequel to the original series. It follows Captain Pike and the crew of the Enterprise many years before it's later taken over by Jim Kirk. It has a younger Spock. It has a younger Uhura, who's still a cadet at this point.
Cool.
And the premiere is incredible. It's probably one of the best Star Trek episodes. It's definitely my favorite Star Trek premiere out of any of the series.
So they finally hired people who actually know what Star Trek is, and
So this is the issue me and Hawk have been having.
The same people who are working on this show.
It's a Keir
Yeah.
Goldman who I have such a big issue with.
oh, I don't like that guy.
Who have such a big issue with, who cannot write a story that will last the whole season, but can apparently do an episode of TV by itself.
One and done, and he's great.
As long as it's not connected to anything else, it's fine. It's so confusing.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to be talking about Doctor Who, I have the same opinion of the current showrunner. I mean, one on occasion or crime dramas, Chris Chibnall's fine, but man, yeah, some people are really good at singular stories, but other people
And really, I
running
guess
an
it's
entire season takes a different kind of skill.
I wonder if it's a genre too, because I think Akiva is more of a TOS person than he is like, I have something new that I have to like do, because this is pulling on old Trek very well without it being like a parody of it. It actually feels like old Trek,
or
without
even
it.
heavy-handed with it.
Yeah, it's really good. So
just fucking a different
watch
show.
that
It's not
show.
Star
It's
Trek.
it's so it feels like old Trek is what like I think I
right.
messaged Hawk as soon as I saw it. I was like, I yelled at it. I was like, holy shit, this is what Trek felt like when I was a kid. And that
hasn't stopped raving yet.
And it hasn't felt like
this
that.
just but this just takes me back to like all the arguments I had with people with Discovery, because it was just so wrong, right? And people just couldn't see it. So I'm glad you see something you like in this show. It makes it, what you just said is sort of what I would need to like see this show.
So the thing about Strange New Worlds and Discovery is very focused on like 2 or 3 people, because it's a season long story. You can't focus on any of the other characters, so you don't really know the crew, right? Which sucks, because Star Trek is about the whole ship. It's about everyone on there. It's about the relationships.
I would say that's not my problem with those shows.
I know,
that
but
is true of the structure. Yes.
Yeah. So this one, you really get like already in the first episode, I think I know more about this crew than I do about all of Disco's crew in the 4 seasons they've had, which is weird and funny. That's not being like, even though we had recurring, even though we had recurring characters, we get to learn more about them that we never did. Anyway, that's
good. No, that's very promising. I'm glad to hear that glowing.
It's very good. I hope people watch it. Even people who don't like New Trek, I think they'll appreciate this.
Well,
series.
to me, it probably starts with this show. To be honest,
I will be honest. I think this is the one out of the Picard, out of Disco. I think this is the one that you would like out of any of them.
Yeah, maybe because it's actually good. It doesn't shit all over everything.
Speaking of that, let's talk about the news. I think, which we do. There was a new ObiWan trailer released just last week for May the 4th. It's coming out in a couple of weeks, so
hello there.
It looks really, really quite good, and it's our first appearance of Darth Vader. What do you guys think?
We're getting 2 episodes as our first release, so you get 2 episodes right off the bat, which is going to be pretty awesome.
On the Friday, yeah. Is it only on Fridays, or did they just do it for this?
I
one
think
week?
it's every Friday. That's a Mandalorian's time slot. So
I thought they were Wednesday. Was it Mandalorian Wednesday? I don't remember anymore.
Fridays.
Yeah.
Fridays were so good when the new episode of The Mandalorian was coming up.
It's weird seeing Obi-Wan without not really wielding a lightsaber. It's him and his blaster the whole time. That's interesting.
That's it. It's very much like Ahsoka in the last episodes of the Clone Wars. She wouldn't take it out unless it was like she didn't even take it out in an emergency. But he's hiding.
But this actually might lead into some of the discussion with Doctor Strange, because you don't want to blow your whole load. Like if he's supposed to be in hiding, like what Hawk pointed out, it makes more sense for him not to be using it all the time. And you still want that to be special, right? Like the first time he whips it out and chops that guy's arm off, it is like, holy shit, right?
It's like my issue with Halo in the first episode is when he takes off his helmet. It's just like, you're like, okay, I would have saved that for a little bit later.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
What? No, I don't even know why we're talking about that show, because that show is exactly the same as Discovery Season 1. It's written by a bunch of assholes who never watched or played any games. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. So why are we wasting time on it? It's not Halo. It's just some IP clone crap. Whatever.
Yeah, I have to mute that.
Yeah. Sorry.
If you want good writing where a Jedi can't use their lightsaber, read the Revan book by Drew Carpathian, because Revan goes with his old buddy Mandalore to go find the Mask of Mandalore so he can become Mandalore again, so he can unite the Mandalorians. And Mandalorians hate Jedi, especially at that time. And Revan's like, well, I guess I'll use blasters for now. And he just smokes a ton of people, because it's not like Jedi don't know how to use blasters. They just don't like to, right? It's like, oh, I have this sword that can stop things, but I can also use the Force to shoot people.
Back when
people and jump further, and
more thoughtful about Jedi.
So,
we're just
totally. We could hopefully maybe see some Obi-Wan doing unarmed combat.
Yes,
Jedi are monks, warrior monks. They should be able to do that.
I always wanted to see martial arts from them.
Yeah,
and we never really got it.
There is some in the trailer in that, so obviously that's coming up.
I'm hoping that this did they announce whether this is going to be just kind of like a one and done, like they're only going to do a one-time series? Then I hope that, because there's a cool little storyline with Chrysanthemum and him, the bounty hunter Chrysanthemum finds him and tracks him down, and that's how he gets the scar across his face is from Obi-Wan. So I hope that kind of happens in the show, which would be kind of fun.
I feel like they haven't been borrowing comic stuff for live action too. They take characters, but they're not doing their stories, right? We haven't seen, even in the cartoon with the Thrawn stuff, it's not like they directly adapted.
Yeah, it's a different version,
books, right? Yeah.
I would rather them do what works for the show instead of forcing whatever fan stuff, because
and also put in Kyle Katarn.
Sorry?
Also, I said force it and also put in Kyle Katarn.
Oh yeah.
It's all I want from Star Wars is Kyle Katarn.
There are so many rumors about them trying to do some sort of Shadow of the Empire type thing, whether it's an animated movie or
animated. I think would work better for that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. An anime about Dash Rendar? That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Zizor just seems like an animated character to me.
With the long fingernails.
Yeah, he's not as good as the bad guys I remember.
Yeah, he's a little goofy.
So
Shizor is an animated version, it'd be okay.
Oddly apropos, Shizor is just Star Wars Fu Manchu.
There we go. It all comes back to Fu Manchu, guys. This is what I've been telling you.
Yeah.
This is what I've been telling you.
I think that's why George Lucas was like, we'll do a video game and a novel and toys, but we won't make we'll pretend there's a movie, but there's not a movie, because that would be racist. And then he made Gungans and the Nemoidians. So
oh yeah, there's the Nemoidians.
Oh yeah. Harcroft wrote, what were the writers of Halo watching and smoking when they wrote the season?
Well, not Halo, I can tell you that. Probably Discovery Season 1.
Such an asshole. if you don't have kids, especially white kids, that are prophesized to be amazing and save the universe, why are you even writing anything? You know, like what's the point?
Anyone else have anything else on this thingy? What's it called? On ObiWan?
No, it looks good.
We good?
I'm just looking.
Hey, wait.
All right. We also got an announcement from BBC about the newest Doctor, the 14th Doctor. It's going to be played by Nakuti Gatwa, who is one of the actors on Sex Education, and he's amazing on Sex Education. So I am so excited for him.
Will he be the youngest Doctor that we've had so far?
No. Matt Smith was actually younger.
How old was he?
Was he?
Yes, the new guy is the same age as Peter Davison was. He'll probably be about 30 by the time his season actually airs. But Matt Smith was technically a little bit younger.
He was 26 when he was the Doctor.
Yeah, Matt Smith was 26.
Matt Smith was okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But this guy seems younger. He just like
he looks young. Yeah,
he's 29.
He's 29.
But he's the same age as the previous youngest Doctor. So, but technically, Matt Smith is actually
Matt Smith is now 39 years old.
Oh my God! Don't say that. Oh crap, man.
No, is he?
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird.
Born 82.
Oh yeah, I guess I'm over 40 now. I forgot. Oh God.
Yeah, Matt Smith and I share a birthday. I forgot that.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. So apparently Nakuti Gatwa's audition was like electric, and that's what got him the part. Like he was nothing that they'd ever seen.
That's what excites me. That's what excites me because like I had a lot of problems with Russell T Davies his run. I mean, I will credit him with bringing the show back. I love the first season.
Yeah.
I love every episode of the first season. Like there's some of them that are not as good as other ones, but I would not remove any one of those episodes because they're all different and they all approach Doctor Who like after that huge like absence
and
in different ways.
Yeah, Eccleston also grows in each episode, and you can see the progression, which is crazy.
Yeah. So definitely Russell T Davies as a showrunner. I had some problems with him later on because I felt like he kind of ran out of his bag of tricks, and he's very like melodramatic, but without real. It just doesn't tie up, but he introduced 2 Doctors that became huge, and right now the show just needs something. It needs a new direction. So I think this is really good. I love that they're picking this guy that is generally lesser known. He's actually got a lot of stage experience, which is cool. And and I heard that rumor too that his audition was really good. Because I don't know what they would have been looking for.
They said it that he was the only person that was like. Oh, nice. We have to have this man.
Nice.
Or this person. I don't know what his pronouns are. Or their pronouns are. But if you watch Sex Education, his character like jumps off the screen. Like, it's a person you are the like. You just want to know this person more.
Apparently, that's not his real accent too. So that's not his speaking voice on the show. So he's very convincing because you can't tell.
I think he has a Scottish accent, doesn't he?
Yeah, he lived in Scotland.
Yeah, which is crazy. He was where I can't remember where he was born, but he did grow up in Edinburgh.
Rwanda, I think.
Rwanda, you're right, and he grew up in Edinburgh. So there's a map of where all the Doctors are from, and I think. The accents are getting more.
That's hilarious.
Which is funny. I'm
funny.
really excited for this Doctor because, as much as I like Jodie Whittaker, the writing for her has just been not great. I like her as a Doctor. I don't like her writing. Unfortunately,
I can't even say that. I have no issue with Jodie Whittaker as an actor. I just think she has no character.
There are bright spots, but like I just
you're picking and choosing, man. She's really inconsistent.
I have to because it's not.
Well, because the writing sucks.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. No, it's such a shame. It's such a shame, right? Because like everyone was like, "Oh man," and it's like now it's like complicated, just and no one knows what to think.
I didn't even watch the Easter thing, and I don't even. When's the last one? This fall, right?
Yeah. Easter was the penultimate episode, and then they're doing the switch over.
Yeah, but
we don't know when. The fall episodes was pretty long.
I guess they had already filmed the regeneration like while they were doing the Easter stuff. So who knows? I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, from that Doctor to a new Doctor. We're talking about Doctor Strange today. Look at that transition, and that was from Brent.
Well, Doctor Who's not a doctor; he's the Doctor.
He is the Doctor.
Or there's the Doctor.
The definitive.
Yeah. That's where
Plato's
everyone.
Doctor.
Not a.
That's Plato's
Sort of
Doctor.
like- Yeah. Thinking of like Kids in the Hall. It's like not Kids in the Hall.
So, like I said earlier, Doctor Strange
Taxman, not
casts
the taxman.
a forbidden spell that opens a doorway to a multiverse. See, this is what they wrote. Like, this is what Marvel's little synopsis, and this is not what happened in the movie.
No.
Including alternate versions of himself, whose threat to humanity is too great for the combined forces of Strange, Wong, and Wanda Maximoff. Like, anyway, we'll get into that when we get into spoilers. But before I wanted to do that, let's do a little TLDR. Did we like it? Did we not like it? Before we get into the meat of it. So like 30 seconds, 2 sentences. Dave, what'd you think?
I liked it. A little bit scary, a lot of fun, and opens a lot of cool doors.
All right, Hawk.
I liked it. A couple issues here and there. Other than that, it was a fun ride. I'd recommend it.
All right, Steve.
A good time. It, like with most MCU things, it builds on existing stuff, makes me want to go back and rewatch some stuff, which is now, expanded. And I think there's some editing issues, but I had fun, and I would actually go see it again. So there you go.
Marcus, you are the newest watcher of this.
Yeah,
I literally just finished the movie, and I came to do this podcast. So yeah, it was great, a lot of fun. I enjoyed pretty much the entirety of it. Like everybody said, I think there's like a few things that just kind of eke out a little bit, but otherwise it was a great movie. I highly recommend it, and it was tons of cool things coming from this and new possibilities, which is a lot of fun. So love it.
Fair. I'm going to tell you a story of mine when I watched it. So I went on Friday, and I obviously, whenever I go see a movie like this or any like action-y movies, I go see D-Box, which is the moving chairs, and I put it all the way up because if you're going to sit in those chairs, you better put that fucking thing all the way up so you feel every single thing.
You don't snuggle with Max Powers. You strap yourself in and feel the G's.
Unfortunately for me, everyone did that in my row, in the row in front of me. I went in the back row because I didn't want to be near people because COVID.
And new reasons now.
Because if you've seen this movie, the first 15 minutes are like action, moving cameras, everything shaking, and your chair is doing that all at the same time. And as I was watching the trailer, we didn't talk about trailers. We'll talk about trailers in a second because I want to talk about that before we get into the movie. Obviously we're all like going all over the place, and the lady in front of me is definitely just eating the shit out of her popcorn and she drank her whole cup of pop before the movie started, because I saw her when I was in there. I saw her in the trailers go, and then she put her cup down. I was like, okay, I guess she's done her drink. Why would you finish before a movie? Anyway,
it's 20 minutes before the movie starts, but yes.
Well, I was only there 15 minutes before, and so she came a little bit after me, so 10 minutes before the movie started. That's a lot. That's a lot to drink. It was like a liter of cola. And so like 15, 20 minutes into the movie, the first big fight, and by first big fight, I meant the New York City fight, finishes, or not finishes, it's in the middle of it because there's a lot of throwing shit around, obviously, because that fight was big. And all of a sudden I hear, and then I hear splashing on the floor in front of me. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh.
And then it happened again. Like a second time, and I was like, mask has to go on because this is not gonna happen right now. And I see she doesn't get up and go away right away, obviously.
No, did she try to hide it like a child would?
No, her friend,
that never happened.
Her friend beside her started talking to her. So I'm watching this and watching the movie and watching that. I'm like, please leave. I want this to be gone. So they eventually leave, and then people come in to clean it, which was like kudos to
while the movie's playing, or did they stop the movie?
No, while the movie's playing.
Oh my god, no.
So kudos for Cineplex for getting in there, having lights and just like cleaning it really fast and not disturbing people. But
those kids are not making enough minimum wage. They need double triple.
I felt bad for them because all you see is this girl come up with her flashlight, look down, sigh, and then grab like whatever the sawdust or whatever shit they put on first.
The desmelliant.
Yeah. Luckily, they cleaned up. Mad props to them. But I got to watch the rest of the movie wearing my mask, thinking, God, I hope she doesn't have COVID.
Did she leave? Like,
yeah, she left. She left as soon as her.
They probably made her leave. Like,
no. She left on her own accord with her friend. Right. And then yeah.
So
that's insane.
funny side story. I never go for the D boxes because I'm cheap, and I discovered that if you sit in the row directly in front of the D boxes, you get a little bit of rumble for free.
Well, really, you're in the small zone too.
I'm gonna not do that
amazing life hack.
I feel bad for the people in front of them because there were people in front of her.
I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to go 2 rows at least. So thank you for telling us about this story. This is educational for all of us.
I always get the one of the combos where they give you like 1,000 points or something. So I always end up getting a free movie every single time I go, which is nice.
Free movie. You pay like $10 for that 1,000 points. That gets you a free movie.
That being said, I really liked the movie. I think I would have liked it more if I wasn't thinking about vomit the whole time.
COVID vomit.
I did end up watching it again over the weekend, and I liked it more my second watch through because no vomit.
Is that going to be our bar now? Like, it was still good without vomit.
Vomit free.
Vomit free.
I enjoyed the movie despite the vomit.
I'll tell you what happened in my screening when we get into spoilers.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I know, Steve, you wanted to talk about the trailers because they attached a couple trailers to this, and you wanted to know which ones people had.
Yeah, so I generally try to avoid trailers, except, movies force them into my eyes, and I can't do anything. But I have to say, the 4 trailers that I remember, I don't know if there was other ones, I actually kind of like them all, and I'm interested in all these movies. I wasn't necessarily. So there was like a Top Gun, like there was an extended scene and then the trailer, and I never really liked. Oh, you didn't get that? Oh, okay. So
we had it was like a preview of Top Gun.
Yeah,
it was 20 minutes of the movie. Basically.
It was 20. It wasn't that long.
I don't need to see the movie.
5 minutes.
I've seen it. It was a whole 5 minutes. It was an entire montage.
They were just introducing the new hotshot pilots and just saying, "Oh, look, Tom Cruise still kicks ass." That's all it was, right? But I've never really I was not huge on Top Gun when it first came out, and I was kind of like, "How are they even going to do this movie?" Right? And I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of interested to see because Tom Cruise kind of sold it, and they did a good job of like pitching all these new pilots who are all like just gutting to try to like take out the old man.
And now they have actual planes in the movie.
Yeah, and actual planes and real footage, new footage, as opposed to, anyway, so I had the Top Gun trailer, and then there was also a Jurassic Park trailer, which I've not seen any of the new Jurassic Park movies, right? But this one. Yeah, so I'm like, maybe I'll see this one, but I guess
I want to see the trio back.
That's the only reason I'll go. Like, they're smart enough to put the original 3 in there because that's the only reason I will go see this movie because I am tired of the new revamp with Chris Pratt and everything. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah. Well, but that's what I mean. That's the whole. I haven't watched them, and putting the old trio in sold me. I was
talking to someone about this trilogy, and we were trying to figure out what the second one was, and we're like, oh, it's the clone one. The clone one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't worry. It's probably not going to matter in the third movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to say what I said in my screening when that trailer came up, and I said, don't give those people your money. They don't deserve it.
Fair enough. It is probably a cheap, nostalgic scam. I will admit.
Of course.
As long as, Sam Neill doesn't fall off like a railless bridge.
I hope they get eaten immediately.
Oh, God. I know that's what's going to happen, too. Fuck.
I would walk off.
No. As long as it's not written and directed by Rian Johnson, we might be okay.
I don't think a Star Destroyer is going to be shattered into 1,000 pieces.
We're going way beyond the scope.
You're
just trying to piss me off now.
The one thing that bothered me about the Jurassic World trailer was when I saw Goldblum with a torch doing the waving thing. I'm like, oh, so there. I hope this is a movie of them picking and choosing moments from.
You think it's not going to to do that?
I don't want it to be. God damn it.
Okay, yeah, we'll be talking about that stuff later.
So we're all going to see this, aren't we? We're seeing this movie.
I don't know if I'm going
anyway.
to, but honestly,
me and Marcus are going to talk about it and talk about how we love the original three people. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, no. Obviously, like
Laura Dern and Sam Neill. That's all I need, man, and a little bit of Jeff Goldblum to pepper it and spice.
That's one big pile of shit.
It wasn't enough because I know that they had Jeff Goldblum in one of the previous ones, and it wasn't enough to bring me back. But you're absolutely right. They brought in the trio, and I'm like,
in the last movie.
Now interested. Yeah, that's right.
You know what's funny about that is that they put him in all the trailers for the last movie, and he was in the beginning and the end of the movie in a trial that was like nothing.
Oh God!
I didn't see that movie.
No.
That movie was terrible.
Yeah.
No. Okay, maybe I won't.
What if instead of bullets, our guns fired dinosaurs?
Oh,
that's the plot of that fucking movie.
I will say one of the things that instantly turned me off though, like I was sitting there, I'm like watching the Jurassic World thing, and I'm like, oh right, the trio's back, that's the thing. And then at the end when it just shows like a giant dinosaur foot hitting there, you hear them say that stupid line, "Why do they always have to go bigger?" And I'm just like, oh God.
We all know there's always a bigger fish. I mean, come on.
No. This was a Death Star. This is
I got the laugh, Eric. That's all that counted.
That's not a dinosaur. That's a dinosaur.
And then I guess this trailer was attached to everyone, but the Avatar, the Waters of whatever.
Yes. Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
was on every single
The Way
copy.
of Water. Yeah,
The Way of Water.
Yeah. So that was another one where. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all of the trailers for this were just so lackluster to me.
Wow.
Okay. Honestly, like yes, I don't care about Top Gun.
Fair.
Like, I really don't want. Like, I saw the original Top Gun.
Maverick, 200 push-ups, man.
The last thing I need is another slow motion fucking volleyball scene
Yeah, you do.
Cringe me.
It's got popular music and a sunset.
And also, this one has Lady Gaga.
Well, that's one of the things I don't like about it.
But also, Gun.
Okay, so I just want to talk about Top Gun. Did you know that the original screening of Top Gun bombed with critics? Like people, like not critics.
Of course,
and
it's
like,
not a good movie.
The only thing that saved it. The only thing that saved it was the stupid "Take My Breath Away" song and that the girl, like the romance that they crafted in that first second iteration.
Take me to better, lose me forever.
Harassment by today's standards.
Do you know how many times I watched that movie on Laserdisc as a child? Because like, I want to be a fighter pilot when I grow up.
But like, this is just like they're just trying to recapture that same sort of like formula, and I just feel like it's. Also, I am so personally, I am 100% tired of seeing Tom Cruise's face. If I could, I'd punch it. I don't like the guy.
That's fair.
I don't like Live, Die, Repeat or whatever it's actually called.
That's because
that's not because of him. He's not good in the movie. You could have put anybody in that role, and I would have still liked the movie.
Yeah, I'd like to see Live, Die, Repeat with Bill Murray instead. I think that'd be a really good movie.
Yeah, that would be so much better.
They do have that.
I'm not going to say anything.
Oh my God, Groundhog Day with aliens. Yeah,
aliens in mech suits. Okay, well, Marcus, you may have saved me a lot of money because I'm not saying I was going to rush out and watch these movies, but I actually was sort of like, maybe.
Well, you know what? I'm going to watch them all. I'm probably going to watch them all. But here's the thing. Here's the difference.
I'm not gonna like it.
Hell, man.
Can we just remake? Can we just make like sequels to all of Tony Scott's movies? Like, can we just like
Days of Thunder 4
or 2? That's right. Denzel Washington somehow came back from the dead. Yeah, Days of Thunderer.
More Thunder.
Hockey, you were saying, sorry.
I said out of these three trailers, now, I will not see the new Jurassic Park. I didn't see the last one, and that
I probably won't see it.
I don't care about Avatar. I hated the first movie.
It was Dances with Wolves.
It was Dances with Wolves in space.
Dances with Smurfs.
Yeah, and I always like to make the joke of like poor man Sam Worthington, who is like the guy who plays Boomerang in the Suicide Squad. I always forget his name. Jai Courtney. Yeah, I always called Jai Courtney poor man Sam Worthington, but then it occurred to me, I don't think anyone even knows who Sam Worthington is anymore because
it's
like,
true.
What the hell, right? Because Avatar was how long ago, right? Like,
what was his last movie? Upgrade? Was Upgrade his last movie? Sam Worthington?
No, he wasn't in Upgrade.
Was that Jai Courtney?
That was
No.
That was the
somebody
other guy,
else totally
Logan
different.
Marshall Green.
Oh my god, they all look the same. I don't.
No. That guy was good.
Yeah.
You get a guy with a buzzed head, and you're just like, oh, that must be him.
With Avatar, my whole issue was I know they're trying to make this movie. They've been making it for 20 years now. I don't know why anyone would want or care to see this movie.
Fucking yeah. Keep talking. It doesn't matter.
I felt that the trailer, like for people who liked Avatar, the handful of people, I will fully admit, it's not a great movie, might be intrigued. But honestly, I still don't really know what the hell this is going to be about. And I don't know why I'd want to, because it was a very unremarkable movie. It was decent action, and it had a gimmicky 3D thing, which is now no longer valid.
I didn't even know 3D was still a thing now. And I think, Dave, you said that you saw this in 3D, didn't you?
Doctor Strange? Yeah, Doctor Strange was in 3D for me.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Was it not for you?
No.
Did you see it in IMAX?
There's like a bunch of different options in that for
every option.
Harcroft and I saw it in IMAX 3D.
I might see it in 3D. I saw the first one in 3D, and
I saw the first one in 3D.
I was a little okay. Well, we'll talk about when we get to the actual movie. So, so we'll just skip Avatar because I think none of us really care.
Wait, I don't think they have D-Box for 3D movies or for IMAX 3D because it's too big, and I don't know. I'm just talking about
you would
mass.
shake, and your eyes wouldn't work properly.
I'm sure that's bullshit. I don't know.
It's bullshit.
Bullshit. And then the last trailer was the Love and
Thunder.
Oh, Love and Thunder. Yeah.
So that was fun.
Great.
Yeah. It did the same. It did the same stuff they did in the last trailer. But you know what? I want to see that.
Wasn't that the first trailer? Isn't that the only?
No. What
trailer?
I mean is the last Thor movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair,
it's got that. It's got that
shot.
juicy...
The shot where Natalie Portman shows up reminds me of the shot when Hela broke Mjolnir, where it's like in the trailer it was like a brick, but it was clearly on green screen, so it was like a brick hall, and then in the movie it was in Norway. So I'm like, that scene's totally going to be somewhere else. Like, there's no way.
Which is good because trailers shouldn't shoot their entire load.
Or they're like, they think it's not going to be there, and it's going to be there now. Because all that's behind her is like a broken down car, and I'm like, is that Street Fighter? Is that like the bonus level? What?
Nice. Yeah. I get that reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're all on board for that movie, so that's fine.
Of course.
Yeah.
I really think
Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Since they brought Taika and James Gunn into there, like the directors have been putting more of their stamp on the movies than the cookie cutter ones we've seen earlier.
Which is what Doctor Strange had with Sam Raimi, right?
Yeah.
Like we got a lot of Sam Raimi.
Yeah, very Raimi.
That is what I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Because we are going to talk about. Shall we go into spoilers?
Yeah, we're in spoiler territory now.
Let's just go already.
We can't.
Look.
First, we've been live for like
one
an
more
hour.
thing I'm going to say before spoilers. if you're interested, because we're going to go right into it at some point.
You know what? We could talk about Sam Raimi as a director before. No. Go into spoilers.
We don't have to. No. The only thing I wanted to indicate is if you have any idea in your head of what this movie is supposed to be about based on the title or any ads you've seen, just purge that and just go and watch the fucking movie, okay?
Yeah.
Like it is just the movie itself I thought was enjoyable because I hadn't seen any advertising, and you should just go in and do that. But if you watch any advertising, you will be disappointed because it's just wrong.
It's funny because Steve
including the title. The title is wrong.
It's funny because Steve was saying this in the chat, and I watched the first two trailers, like the first one that they showed, the first real trailer and then the teaser. And then I was like, nope, I can't watch anymore because I saw Spider-Man like that and Spider-Man without trailers, and I thought it was amazing. So I
want to bring that up too, though. I will say Spider-Man had a similar kind of marketing issue, and they handled it properly, whereas Multiverse, I would say, gives away too much. Spider-Man, they successfully held enough back and still revealed some things. They didn't hold everything back, but they were able to do it a lot better. And that's the fundamental difference. You don't have to drop everything into the trailer, right? And they really have. And it's really
it's not even that. Like if we look at Brent's story, like he was on YouTube and they had screenshots in the thumbnails.
I've had some things ruined for me. No, I've had mine.
Every time I open my YouTube app, it would auto play here's a 15-second clip from Doctor Strange. And I'm like, I don't want to see this. Why would I want to see this?
As soon as you guys mentioned this, I went off of YouTube until I saw the movie. Like it was like a YouTube blackout.
No, I was off too. The one thing I stumbled across was on Reddit, and it was like literally like
that's your problem.
That's my fault. Yeah, no. I blame myself for that. Right?
I blame you for that too.
It didn't ruin the movie for me because, like I said, I came back home after watching the movie and I watched the trailer, and everyone here knows I just flipped out because I'm like, the fuck. Like you gave that away? Why would you do that?
I really wish I saw the trailers.
That's all I wanted to say. We'll go into spoiler territory, but yeah, if you've seen any of the marketing, wipe it from your mind. It is not going to be that movie because it is very misleading and spoilery. So just don't watch that shit. Just go see the movie. It's misleading
and spoilery.
It's two different things.
It's both.
Brent, if you're in the chat. If you're in the chat, get out because we're talking about spoilers now. And for all you guys out there,
and you don't want to be spoiled. You do not want to be spoiled.
Yeah,
even more
it's
so.
It's a fun movie. Yeah.
We have 5 seconds.
It's a super fun movie.
4.
It's a super fun movie.
3, 2, 1. So I had that small little synopsis at the beginning. Forget it. That's not what the movie is about.
Actually, read it again because I think it'll be a good starting point.
Dr. Stephen Strange casts a forbidden spell that opens the doorway to the multiverse, including alternate versions of himself, sort of.
Well, that happened in Spider-Man, sort of.
Whose threat to humanity is too great for the combined forces of Strange, Wong, and Wanda Maximoff. I give them credit for throwing the scent off the trail. This is the actual story. I actually wrote a synopsis, a full synopsis, and let's see how fast I can get through it. I did this as soon as I came home tonight, so I don't know if it's accurate. We'll find out. The story begins with Defender Strange and America Chavez running from a being before being sucked into the MCU universe. That's Universe 616. With Defender Strange dead, America teams up with Wong in this universe's Strange to find out who's been hunting her. Strange goes to Wanda for help, only to discover that she has been sending creatures to capture America. She wants her powers so she can traverse the multiverse and be with her sons. We also learned that she has been corrupted by the Darkhold, a mystic book that ensnares its user. After a battle at Karmartaj, it was a destruction. Strange and
slaughter.
Strange and America.
Bitch slap.
Strange and America are transported to Universe 838, where pizza comes in ball form. They meet up with Mordo, who drugs them and takes them to the Baxter Building, which is under the guidance of one Christine Palmer. Non-spoiler alert, the universe's Palmer and Strange didn't end up together either. Mordo takes Strange to stand trial in front of the Illuminati, Universe 838's band of superheroes who defeated Thanos. There he finds out that 838's Strange used the Darkhold to defeat Thanos. Unfortunately, the Darkholds corrupted this Strange and he started using dream walking, which was sort of controlling people from other universes.
Different versions of himself in other dimensions.
Yes. This started an incursion, which is where one Earth comes in contact with another dimension's Earth. If they do touch and form,
an explosion happens.
They are destroyed, which is why incursions are so dangerous. Back on 616, the Darkhold is destroyed, so Wanda uses aggressive negotiations to convince Wong to take her to the origin of the Darkhold, Mount Wondergore. Wanda dreamwalks to 838, takes on the Illuminati, and dispatches them in a fairly easy manner, and takes America back to 616. So in 616, Strange dreamwalks into the dead body of Defender Strange after a random music fight with Sinister Strange, which I loved.
Which was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Yeah.
As soon as I saw that and in the credits, I texted Megan for notes later, Fantasia fight.
Fun.
He goes into the zombie form of Defender Strange and fights Wanda on the top of Mount Wondergore with a cape made out of ghosts/demons. He's put down pretty easily, but throws down an inspirational speech to America Chavez, who up until this point has been afraid of controlling her power because she stranded her parents somewhere as a child. She gets up and starts beating down on Wanda, but realizes that she cannot win this fight. So she opens a portal in front of another dimension's version of her kids, who are fucking terrified of the Scarlet Witch. Wanda realizes what she's become, lets America and Wong leave, and then brings down the temple on top of her. At the end,
destroying the Darkhold too.
And destroying. Well, the Darkhold is already gone, right? The original text of the Darkhold. The text of it, yeah.
That was transcribed from.
At the end, we see Karmartaj being rebuilt and America taking lessons. Strange and America share a touching moment before he returns to the Sanctum Sanctorum. He finds peace by fixing the watch that had been broken during the car crash. And walking down the street, he collapses in terrible pain. That's when we see the third eye emerge in his forehead. In the post credits, we see Doctor Strange, now fine after I guess that headache, walking down the street, because he's in New York City. They do that a lot. And then a portal opens behind him, and it's Clea, played by Charlize Theron. And she says he's created an incursion and that they can fix it together. So he suits up and off they go. Accurate?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty
Wow.
detailed.
That's pretty much the movie.
Very hard to follow if you haven't watched the movie, though. So you should just go watch it.
So I just want to ask you, what did you think of this movie? Like, how did you feel? Like, we gave our small impressions, but what did you think of this whole movie as it is? Let's go with the most recent watcher, Marcus.
Yeah. Oh yes. It was awesome. I was actually, again, I think Steve remembers, like, I've typically in the past watched all the trailers for the movies before we watched them. And then recently, especially with Spider-Man No Way Home and everything, I decided to stop watching the trailers. And Steve, and your ultimate wisdom, thank you. Like, it really
this time
does.
I really lucked out. Yeah.
Like, it kind of makes a big difference. Like, a teaser trailer is fine, but after that, I think you really need to kind of steer clear of all trailers for movies that you're going to want to watch, because this was a really nice, pleasant surprise. There was tons of stuff that I didn't know about, tons of things I kind of guessed were going to happen, and things that were just completely different than I expected them to be. And like, our cameos were incredible. The references that they made were awesome. Some of my favorite, like, actually something that I realized as soon as it happened, I was like, oh my god. In the later spot where Christine Palmer is helping our Doctor Strange, she kind of like leans over and she's fighting against the other Doctor Strange, and she's like, oh, she says the name of it, and she grabs this thing, and I recognize it immediately. It's that, like, it looks kind of like a giant chalice. Mm-hmm. It's the thing that she launches with the candle, and But that was in the first Doctor Strange movie, where he comes.
Kaecilius, you don't know what that does.
You don't know. I fucking love that came back. I just like, it just made me so happy. Those little things like that were just like, ooh, like lovely little tidbits that just really made me happy.
Can you just say lovely little tidbits?
Lovely little tidbits.
Like it.
This movie filled with
My new
lovely
ringtone.
tidbits. Yeah.
Yeah, the tidbits were all lovely. No, I totally.
But on top of that, I was really, when they first pitched this movie, I was really like banking on a horror movie, like, the MCU's first horror movie, and I wanted that. When they said it was going to be PG-13, I was kind of like, oh, does that mean we're not going to get the scares? We're not going to get that kind of terrifying creepiness? And we got it. Like, it's there still.
I wonder now, right? With, like, Scott Derrickson said, like, it wasn't like, they weren't going to let me make a horror movie. And it's like, they definitely made a horror movie.
Yeah.
There are some genuine jump scares and some amazing creepy moments. I fucking loved it.
But I feel like
with like Wanda, she was like as credible a threat as like Michael Myers is in his universe, or before he's in that.
There was like some Terminator vibes in this,
She's so powerful that there's just no avoiding her. She's going to find you. Can only run.
Yeah, there's no stopping her. There's either slow her down or just keep running. Those are your two options, and I fucking loved it. It was creepy and awesome, and like, we got to see some fun little things. We got zombie characters. We got we got all these like little.
Spoiled for me. Oh my god.
Yeah, I would have been really pissed seeing that, and like the
they show it in every trailer. They show it in every one of the trailers. Zombie Strange. So you got to like think about it whether you want to or not, right? And you're like,
I thought it was like Marvel Zombies Doctor Strange.
Yeah, exactly. If you saw that, you would be thinking, oh, there must be a zombie universe, right? Multiverse. So it must be from the zombie universe. Yeah, I didn't see that, so I had no idea he was going to resurrect the dead one from the beginning of the movie. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So fucking awesome movie. Also, like, my all-time, like, this definitely my favorite cameo. I mean, I loved the Illuminati in all its glory, but John Krasinski.
Whoa, yeah. We will get into the cameos.
God,
yeah.
God, that was the best. That one, I literally was just jumping for joy in my seat. The people next to me who didn't know me, they were just like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Yes, they did it! They fucking did it!"
Is he signed on to be that character? No.
Shit. So I'm having an argument with some people because I think that means he definitely will not be.
I agree with you.
I feel the same kind of thing because, like I said to Chris, I'm like, there's a good chance it's like just one of those like fan service moments.
Yeah.
And
so
we're
Yeah, because we have the old Charles Xavier, who's not going to be this universe's Charles Xavier. We have,
and I don't think McAvoy is going to be like, yeah, let me do like a couple of like Marvel. Like I think he's kind of done with.
But they got the same guy to play Black Bolt.
But
so
he's not.
Anderson would probably do fucking anything to redeem that TV show. You know?
Yeah, because he likes the character.
I was like, because Harcroft was sitting next. No, he wasn't. One of his friends was, and I was like, what? They made it. They made it back. If anything, he was more accurate to that whole series than in that one like 5-minute thing. They had Lashana Lynch from Captain Marvel 1. Coming back
she
to
is
Captain
technically
Marvel.
a Captain Marvel in the comics. So,
which
I always thought was a fun what would you call it? Lovely little tidbit, right? Because in the original,
tidbit.
In the original Captain Marvel, I was like, oh, that's a wonderful tidbit because she is also Captain Marvel. So it's kind of fun that they're both Captain Marvel, you know, as
I'm going to have to make an emote that's a little tidbit.
I think that should be a segment in the show from now. And now, little tidbits.
Yeah, that'd be funny. We should have it rise up. But to have LeBeau be the Captain Marvel of that universe was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. I think Marcus had a good, general summary. Did anyone want to disagree with him about that? No? We're all on the same page. So, Multiverse of Madness. Was there enough multiverses? Was there enough madness?
How many multiverses did we actually jump into?
So,
maybe 6?
A lot of this took place on 838, right?
So it's 838, 616, and then the destroyed incursion one.
Yeah,
838 is fucked, eh? Like, they're fucked.
Yeah,
838 is cool. I like that there were plants on the walls of everything. Everything was. There was a Baxter building, which we need in.
Also,
616.
Pizza Papa always gets paid.
Pizza Papa.
Pizza Papa. Oh, that was another great cameo.
Yeah, we got Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi, you gotta have Bruce Campbell. That's right. Used him well.
I was when I saw it and I was vomit on my mind and sort of a little bit I was happy but a little bit disappointed because I sort of wish I love Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's my favorite and not my favorite animated movie, but it's my favorite Marvel Spider-Man movie. And I like that there was one person from a different universe and then they sort of built as the movie went on, right? You get Gwen and then you get the other spiders and it just sort of kept on building on top of each other, so you get this layered parfait of multiverse thing and each of those different Spider-Men built upon Miles's story. It made him better as it went on, and I sort of wanted that in this movie. I know Strange's journey is really good because he went from his egotistical self-centered person in Doctor Strange 1, and now by the end of this he's starting to trust people more than just Wong. He's training America Chavez and stuff, and it's a good journey for him, but I wanted the other Stranges to add to this. I wanted, and then all the cameos just sort of came all together and then disappeared again. I wanted it all to be layered and to be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And
I totally agree. I mean, this is gonna go into the ongoing rant of what they showed and our expectations. Unfortunately, we have Into the Spider-Verse, we have Spider-Man No Way Home, two movies that I would say arguably handled the term multiverse better than this one. The one thing that was spoiled for me was the shot of the Illuminati standing in front of Scarlet Witch. I'm like, holy shit, Captain Carter, Black Bolt. So I thought it was going to be exactly what you described, right? And I skipped all the trailers. So this 1-2 second scene that someone took on their phone, almost fucked it up for me. And I didn't think too much of it because I only saw 2 seconds, right? But I was already oh, wow, Captain Carter's in this. I should watch What If because I hadn't actually watched it yet, right?
I got spoiled on Captain Carter just by a thumbnail.
Yeah,
that's what I saw. YouTube page.
It's in 2 of the trailers. I took notes. I actually am so pissed at the trailers. I went through all of it. They give away the Illuminati because they say it by name. They give away that they've got Ultron robots in one universe. Yeah, they actually say the Illuminati will judge you now or something. Yeah. It's actually in one of them, okay? Most of the trailers imply that Doctor Strange is going to be the villain, which... I mean, okay, that's cool. A nice turnaround, and it would have been cool. But then they start showing footage of the undead Doctor Strange with all the arms, all the ghost arms. Which again, if you were going in expecting for him to go bad, I don't know if that would ruin the movie for you or not. Maybe not, but it's still like a bait and switch, right? Yeah. And then the earlier trailers implied it was going to be a Wanda alliance, but the later trailers actually give away that she's the villain. I didn't know she was going to be the villain. That was amazing.
I sort of assumed she was going to be the villain. I assumed it.
I didn't know.
Oh,
I didn't know.
I knew going in she was going to be the villain in that.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's the whole pervasive culture that we live in right now in that, because it's not just their trailers. It's not just the marketing from Marvel in that. It is like all the media that surrounds it too, especially clickbait and articles and that want your attention. Like, I'm having a little trouble like discerning how exactly John Krasinski got the role. Was it because an internet campaign suggested that he would be great as Reed Richards?
Yeah.
Or was it the fact that that some rumor of his casting got out and created the speculation?
That rumor came about like when Miles Teller was cast as
oh wow,
like way back.
Because if that was the case, that means Rahul Kohli will probably be like the real Reed Richards, because people keep suggesting him for it, and he's like, I'm not in a Marvel movie.
Good.
And then he wears like a Marvel shirt, and people are like, oh my god, he's like, I'm just wearing I'm just a fan of Marvel. I'm not wearing it, blah blah blah.
I don't mind if rumors generate fun things. Just don't like do it for a dumb reason, right? I mean, if he's going to be Reed Richards for one movie, I'm fine with that. Like, that was the thing. Like they did the multiverse one time and they killed everybody, which was crazy and kind of like maybe a little too crazy. But I mean, you have that opportunity, so slay them all, right? I mean, you have to show how brutal Scarlet Witch is, otherwise she's not a threat, right?
Let's talk about Wanda before the Illuminati, because I do want to touch upon the Illuminati later. At the end of WandaVision, and I don't know how people are watching this movie without watching WandaVision. It seems like a very integral part of this.
Yeah,
it's
it would
the
be
first
weird,
movie that
like her kids. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
But at the end of WandaVision, like we get that post-credit scene where she's sipping coffee, and then her astral self is reading the Darkhold, and you hear the voices of her kids saying, "Help, mommy, help." So I always assumed that her kids were like trapped somewhere out there, and that she would come and save it. But I didn't realize that she would actually go psycho and just try and steal someone else's kids. What do you guys think about her?
I think when it shows why the Darkhold's so dangerous, because if you don't have that, and then Strange reads from the Darkhold, you're like, what's the problem? Dude can just use the Darkhold. Let me use the Darkhold. Why is everybody? Wanda's not evil. She used the Darkhold. It's like, no, she's super fucking evil. She used the Darkhold.
I wonder if I saw like an evolution of her, like her getting darker, like over WandaVision would have been. But
I think we did see that evolution in the movie, where she was like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing. Give me the kid. And then it was like, hey, I'm being reasonable right now. Then she killed fucking everyone.
It was a quick turn. I will say, I really enjoyed WandaVision, and I was very sort of like, I don't know where they're going to go with this. I think I interpreted it the same way that Eric did. I felt that Agatha had trapped the kids somewhere, and she was just figuring out a way to get there. Yeah. But at the same time, I know what the Darkhold is, and I'm like, I don't know what they're going to do in this MCU version. It's not good. So I'm kind of curious. And then, she just went super evil really fast in this movie. But at the same time, I will allow it, because a good villain is a character whose like motivations you can relate to, right? Yeah. And they did spend the entire WandaVision establishing her wanting a family, right? Yep. So I do think there was a little bit of a leap, but it's not totally irrational. And so that's what I was referencing earlier. I actually want to go back now and rewatch WandaVision, and I think it will still work, you know? Like, I think there'll be some people who are going to be disappointed because she kind of redeemed herself at the end of WandaVision, but then she didn't really. Like, she's even more fucked up now.
Like This was my the only hesitation of her, in that, I kind of knew going in that she was going to be, if not the prime villain, at least like a big threat in this movie. And that it was just weird coming off of that TV show, because it spent a lot of time in that series establishing that she might be evil, and that all this was her fault, and she was doing this on purpose, and that only to redeem her. Just so soon have her jump off the deep end in this movie.
Okay, I'll read this evil book.
There was no build up to it whatsoever in that, and I did love that scene, as she's walking along, bring America here, and that, I can look after her. Oh, you didn't tell me her name.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that would have maybe made it better for me is if Vision was in all of these other universes, like being like her anchor down.
I think that would have broken the illusion, though. Is the thing
that also would have been really expensive to have Paul Bettany come back?
He doesn't do much, right?
Do it for minimum wage. he just likes to work. Every time Kevin Feige calls him, he's like, "I'm being fired. They're firing me."
I think after I saw this movie, I was texting Hawk, and he's like, "No spoilers." I was like, "Obviously," but this is what I said after the movie. I was like, "This is a 100% a Sam Raimi film. It's probably the most Sam Raimi film I've seen in years, because the Oz films were fucking terrible. Spider-Man touched upon this, but this felt more like his old school horror films. What did you guys think of this?
Can I tell you about, like, my first time ever watching a Sam Raimi film?
Of course,
when
yes.
Evil Dead 2 came out on video, way back in the day. It was a New Year's Eve party, and my parents would, brought us to their New Year's Eve party. They drank downstairs and that while the kids were upstairs watching movies, till the wee hours of the morning. And that first time I saw Evil Dead 2 and that.
Jesus.
I did not sleep the rest of the night. I had to wait till the sun came up the next morning.
Swallow your soul.
Yes, banging against that.
Yeah, that's horrendous. Yeah,
his imagery stuck with me like no other horror movie stuck. And the camera angles, those big zoom ins and zoom outs, and that became kind of his trademark. And that,
the sequence under the tunnel, when Wanda's limping after them, and then just comes out of the side.
Yeah, the side, that was fun. Yeah,
that was great.
When she using the reflections coming through the gong, when she came through the gong, or when she first she locked the doors, and you get the exact Sam Raimi shot where it twists and zooms in, and the door's shut. That's straight at Evil Dead. And then coming through the gong, and I'm like, that fucking
It's out of the cellar, right?
Okay.
Or even something as simple as when Chavez looks in that puddle of water and that when she's using the reflection, the eye.
Yeah. And I don't think there's been a better Sam Raimi ending than this one with the eye. Just at the end, you're just like, that's a perfect Sam Raimi ending right there.
So I wanted to go ahead.
Because I wanted to know what the balance was in this, and I went and watched a really short interview with Sam Raimi. And they asked him, hey, what did you try to do in this movie to bring in Sam Raimi? He's like, I just tried to make a Marvel movie, and they kept pushing me to make it more of a Sam Raimi movie. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's why they got Sam, right? You get Sam Raimi because you want a Sam Raimi movie, right? So that makes me feel good that Marvel's pushing filmmakers to make their vision.
Which is so weird, because that's kind of a turnaround for Marvel in that, because they've had auteur filmmakers on set, and this hasn't worked out. Edgar Wright and that. I'm thinking of another one in that.
I think they feel comfortable with that now, though, right? They feel like, listen, we don't have to. Doesn't have to be cookie cutter anymore.
Well,
I think
Guardians of the Galaxy same time, they did lose the horror director to get Sam Raimi, so it's not 100%.
He has such a different vibe though as a director in that. He did a great job with Doctor Strange 1, but as far as horror in that, his are way more fully kind of dread and
sure.
Yeah. Go for it. No, you. Go.
I've actually forgotten what I was going to say. I was going to say with Sam Raimi, I was going to ask you guys, so I noticed that the music was by Danny Elfman, so it's got this is full Sam Raimi from the 2000s, So, and I was kind of wondering how you felt about that, because I thought stylistically the movie worked. I was a little worried because I
don't think I noticed the music at all. I was it didn't exaggerate the visuals.
Yeah, it was really well laid in, but it wasn't.
It's not true. There is a scene where the music is very prominent. Obviously,
is it the X-Men theme?
No. I mean when they fight, when Sinister Strange and 616 Strange have their music
the Fantasia fight.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the thing I was worried about when they brought on Danny Elfman is that I know, stylistically, Danny Elfman does the bump 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 bump. He's done that forever, and that's cool. But this felt like Doctor Strange. It felt like it didn't have the cool
backwards soundtrack at one point, like they did in the first one.
In the first one, they had that amazing,
Just
like,
genius.
what was it? It was like a sitar type sound.
Yeah.
They didn't do that at all in this
yeah.
one, which I was sort of sad about because I thought that was the motif for Doctor Strange. But that didn't take away from the movie. And I was more worried that I'd hear the bump, bump, bump and be like, oh, this is fucking Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't realize it was Danny Elfman until the end of the movie when I saw his name pop up. And then that's when I was like, oh, yeah, there were a few moments in there that kind of felt like Danny Elfman, but nothing that jumped out.
Yeah.
It's not like the Batman theme that's going to stand out to you. You know, like this movie didn't have iconic music. I don't think.
Yeah. No, I thought it worked, and I'm glad like Raimi and Danny Elfman were able to create MCU movies. You know, like without like being too ridiculous.
Elfman did the 3 Spider-Man films.
That's what you want with this.
Yeah.
You really wanted that with this movie is to get ridiculous in that.
Yeah.
I remember years ago when it was announced that they were doing the Doctor Strange movie. A friend of mine who loved the comic back in the day said, if the E equals MC squared doesn't appear in thin air out of nowhere, and he's like, I'm not going to bother watching it.
Yeah, it did it not in one of the dimensions? Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the first one it did show up.
And really, when I heard that too, and I was like, this better get Kirby crazy. And
when you
the first
guys-
one did, but not the second one as much, but a little bit.
When you guys were talking about Doctor Strange last week or last time, that was the one thing I was like, I didn't think when Marvel started doing like Thor and then Guardians and then Ant-Man, like I was like, oh, they're gonna fuck it up, right? Like this is where it's gonna the train's gonna crash. I mean, Thor, how are you gonna do Thor? And then they pulled it off, right?
Yeah.
And by the time Doctor Strange came by, they had done it successfully, like with Guardians and Ant-Man. I'm like, it's probably in the bag, right? But I was just like, oh, Doctor Strange might be the one, right? And and they nailed it. And that's one thing I wanted to say about this movie, because Doctor Strange's most famous story is his origin story, honestly, right? I mean, I don't know any other stories with him other than being in other people's stories. So I was kind of like, I don't know what this movie is going to be about. Is it going to be, are they going to be able to do that dimensional weird LSD shit again? And they still somehow managed to get it in, and not forced.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to be able to maintain that every single time. But yeah, I was really happy because it still maintained what they did in the first film, but we're able to still introduce, like, I thought, meaningful character arcs for Strange and for Wanda. And that to me is sort of the most successful element of this movie. Like the Raimi stuff is great. It keeps it easy to watch. But I was surprised at how, I don't want to call it subtle. It wasn't really subtle, but they were able to draw that relationship question and like his feelings. Like I thought it was very satisfactory, like both plot lines.
There's a great like conclusion to their relationship, and that I think is going to be able to propel his character moving forward. Right? Like as soon as he fixes that watch, you're like, oh, he's at peace.
Yeah, he's whole.
He's actually happy at this point before he gets.
Well, he learned from Wanda's mistake. I mean, the whole broken watch metaphor was great. It's like repairing that which is broken in your world, and that instead of having to covet what isn't in other people's.
Yeah,
right?
And
it was a subtle but very like in character plot, and it was handled well. Like I didn't think it was too overbearing, and it was an issue across all the Doctor Stranges, right? Which was really interesting for him to see how others had tried to deal with it.
I like that they like Christine right at the beginning says, you know, you're the one that needs to hold the scalpel all the time. Like he has to be in control. He needs to be the one that fixes people. And then we get the reasoning because his sister died when he was young.
Yeah,
and
which is from the comic.
Yeah, which is from the comic.
I didn't know about that, and I was like, wow, that really worked. Like everything comes.
Honestly, that's like a nexus point for that character, right? Because it happened to every single one of them.
Yeah,
that's what
I was wondering whether the other one would know what he was talking about, but
it made me think of like he's like an inverse version sort of Mr. Freeze, whereas like he learns to like use his pain for good, and Mr. Freeze is like, I'm going to control everything, because like they sort of have similar origins in that regard, where it's like, someone falls in the ice and dies, and Freeze is like, I'm going to use that to be evil somehow.
Not every
evil.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Some of them.
I love the whole thing with the whole thing Eric mentioned about the scalpel and that. Like it really influenced the way he approached America Chavez in it. And, Defender Strange. When everything was lost, tried to take it from her and that.
This is strategic move for the greater good, right?
Yeah. As Steven learns that at some point you have to trust like the person with this power and that because and it also kind of speaks to like where Strange is going as a leader. Everybody's been projecting him as a future leader of the Avengers and that. And I think this is one of those
I
Teaching
think
the
he'll be
moments
the
that
leader.
they
I think they'll call themselves the Defenders.
I think they'll be.
I don't think they're going to be the Avengers. I think he's like what
that'd
Iron
be
Man
cool.
did worked out, but like we're we defend because this Strange very much so. He's like what does he do with like Captain? He's like we don't trade. Actually, Vision said that or whatever, but like this Strange is like it doesn't matter how far we go. Like we don't give up. Like we don't. And I suspect that in his using the time stone to look through different universes or different futures, like he knows about the Book of Ashanti thing, right? He knows that that's the path he could take, but then he reads from the Darkhold and then he has to die, right? Like he knows that that's that path. So instead he's like, no, we can do it this way and it works out. It does suck for 5 years. I'll be gone for 5 years. It's a sacrifice I'm going to make and a bunch of other people are going to make, but we win in the end and in a better way than, Strange apparently using the Book of Ashanti to just one-shot Thanos and then having to die, right? Like,
yeah, no, it's all consistent. It works out really well. I was going to add, I just wanted to bring up to Rachel McAdams because I know that she was really like a periphery in the first film, to be honest. Like she was your token love interest of a person who has a life outside of being a
does
superhero.
assist in a murder though.
Fair enough. But she obviously had a bigger role in this one, and I think they used her really well, and I liked. Yeah, I mean, it was a smaller role.
That was one of my complaints from when we were talking about the first Doctor Strange. I was just in the first movie, she was forgettable. She was not really necessary to me. And this one, she really felt like she was a necessary part of the storyline, but also like she felt like a valued actress as well. Like I felt like she actually gave us a good performance.
She had a story arc.
She had a story arc. Like, it was good. It was actually impressive. Also, I loved Wong in this.
Yeah.
I was
that was the other thing I wanted to bring up.
So, oh my God, finally.
America Chavez, I did not expect to be as important a character, but nor Wong as well. I really enjoyed both of them because I had no idea they'd both be in the movie to this degree. And I have to say, Wong was great. So
I was hoping to see more of America Chavez, to be honest, but I did like that she was in it more, like enough. Like she's still learning her powers. I like that they're setting up the young Avengers, right? Like everyone has a sidekick now, which is nice.
yeah. But I mean, really, like, I did kind of find it funny because like he just immediately like forgot, about the other young boy that he was tutoring. Like he's gone now, and then he has another a young other kid.
Yeah.
I wanted Ned to pop up, but I also realized that he's probably exclusive to Sony's version of film.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Was that weird to anyone else that they're like, oh yeah, and there was that spell with Spider-Man. I was like, didn't they make everyone forget that? Even
no, but he knows of Spider-Man's existence.
Oh, he doesn't know Peter Parker. Fuck yeah, that's
Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
He wouldn't forget that he cast the spell. He would just forget who Peter Parker was.
Yeah. I forgot it was the Peter Parker part, not the Spider-Man part.
That's the weird thing. And like evidence technically of Peter Parker being Spider, like the books don't disappear that Flash Thompson wrote, right? Like all that shit's still out there. The video evidence is still out there. But everybody forgot, and they're probably not going to care anymore, right? Like, because it's already happened.
Or there's like some sort of hex where you can't see Peter Parker and stuff.
Powerful, man. I mean, Sony's lawyers, they're like infinity.
They're magical, even.
Don't want to fuck with that.
So we get the conclusion of Christine. I don't think she's going to come back again. No. She doesn't seem like that. Her character doesn't need it. But that's when we get Charlize Theron as Clea show up at the end, who is also a romantic interest of Strange and
in
a pretty
the
important character in the comics, especially to the Secret Wars. Secret Wars, yeah.
Yeah, Secret Wars. That's all incursions.
Well, okay.
I'm hoping this means we get Battle World. Actually, I think that'd be really cool.
I think I was talking to Marcus about this off mic when we were like, I don't know where Kang comes in, but if he becomes Doctor Doom and does the Battle World, I think that might be his role this time. But like I was saying earlier, we get this cameo from Charlize Theron, and it isn't a Sam Raimi movie if we don't get a shit ton of cameos. We get Bruce Campbell as Pizza Ball guy hitting himself
like pizza ball now.
Hitting
pizza
himself like he did in the Evil Dead movies.
You're a taker.
You're a taker.
I do like that she was like, do you know that food is free in most universes? It's really weird that it isn't in yours. And I'm like, that's a good point.
Balls.
That might be true. And then he's like, those aren't free.
Out of anyone, of course, it's Bruce Campbell doing it.
She's just been stealing in every universe, right? Like it's quite possible that capitalism isn't the default way in most universes, but at the same time, when it is, she's just stealing.
Yeah,
that's a good joke.
But this movie, we get the Illuminati finally on screen. like people have been wanting this since they introduced Doctor Strange. Like they were like, well, we have an X-Men team eventually coming. We might as well do it. And we get Black Bolt played by Anson Mount, Captain Marvel by Lashana Lynch from Captain Marvel 1, like I said earlier. We get Captain Carter. We get Mordo, obviously. Mr. Fantastic.
Carl Mordo.
Carl. Yeah, Carl.
That's his name. That's his name. Baron Carl Mordo.
Mr.
I like that he
Fantastic.
dropped Baron too. He did drop the fact that he's a Baron.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. That's
I
true.
did say Darren. Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic played by John Krasinski in that amazing fan casting, and then Charles Xavier played by Patrick Stewart. They sort of just were in here to be fodder for Wanda.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of this?
Though.
Yeah.
Well, I got a great. I can tell you my story now because it's the perfect time.
Oh, okay.
Because our movie went great for the first I think it's about an hour, 45 minutes, something like that.
No.
And then John Krasinski appears, right? And it's like, we're the Illuminati. And then the video cut out.
That's how amazing his performance
We thought it was
was.
a part of the film. We thought it was a part, like there was a cut or something in the film. Like we thought this is a part of the movie. And then like we start hearing stuff and like really getting spoiled, but we can't see the movie. And people started freaking the fuck out. And I'm like, okay, all right. What,
And then
like,
the
just everybody
gunshots.
calm the fuck down. You know, it sucks. And you know, some people left the theater. A lot of people were like yelling and screaming and shit like that. It took them about 15 minutes to shut the sound off.
Oh, no.
Come on.
So you heard them die?
Oh, I heard. We heard like almost everything, but like some people, like I couldn't really hear the movie because the people were so loud in the theater.
Thank
And
goodness.
then they got the projector working.
You know, in Community, when Donald Glover freaks out and starts crying, this is what I
Yeah.
imagine your audience doing.
We're not
Yeah.
supposed to
It's
be
like,
your heroes. So it took them about 15 minutes to cut the sound and then get the projector working again, and they rewound about 10 minutes before when the movie stopped.
Okay.
So we were out of the theater like 45 minutes later. That we got out of the movie after 1 a.m.
Oh my god.
10, you know, a 10 o'clock showing. But of course, the movie didn't actually start till 10:20.
Yeah.
But people were like really rowdy. There was a couple of people, like teenagers behind us, who sounded like they were genuinely just going to start fighting because they were arguing about soccer. But it took so like, you know, John
You're in the
Krasinski
real
shows up again.
multiverse.
People start sarcastically clapping, like no idea, like just being a bunch of fucking terrible comedians, right? And then finally the movie gets to where we haven't seen before, and people shut the fuck up, and everything goes fine. We leave the theater. There's a bunch of police cars outside because the people who were yelling and screaming went and screamed at the staff and scared the shit out of them. And like cops bigger than Harcroft were there to like.
I've never
you know,
seen Harcroft.
Yeah.
Harcroft is a tall motherfucker. He's
I'll tell you, Harcroft.
I'm 5'10" and a half, and I'm the runt of my family. So,
That's like Megan. Megan's 5'10", and she's the small one in her family.
yeah. That cop was like 7 feet tall. He was a fucking giant.
That's
So
what
yeah,
Harcroft said.
apparently people were. It was opening night. I mean, it was Thursday. It's technically before the movie comes out, right? Like the midnight.
Right.
But like, yeah, people were just being dicks, and then the rest of the movie was fine after that. But just like this 45, 50-minute chunk where people were just being fucking assholes, basically.
Yay.
but
People
no
are-
That's a fun
puke.
story.
no vomit. That's nice.
No
No
vomit.
vomit. Yeah.
And we got, I got free passes for that, so it's. I
That's
think
good.
it's sort of
And
worth
Eric
it.
did
But
not.
I
But
didn't
the-
want to
but-
bitch to them because they did such a good job and they're quiet and they. Yeah, I don't want to be like, there was vomit in front of me, guys. Give me
You
something
want
free.
to be that guy who gets the police called on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But at no point is it worth yelling at staff.
No.
At no
Yes.
point is it,
No.
be a fucking superhero, not a fucking loser, and yelling at staff. So
I remember one
Tough.
time, the one time I talked to to a staff member, and it was for Les Mis, and I was like,
and you
"Guy."
asked for a refund.
No, I should have, but I'd seen the movie. I saw the movie already, but I
Russell
wanted
Crowe
to
was
go.
awful. I want a free ticket.
But I wanted to go with my wife, and I went to the theater, and they didn't have all their speakers on in the front, so you could only hear audio in certain spots. And I was like, "You
Yeah,
guys,
that's
the
messed
audio's not working." They're like, "Nope, it's set up properly." I was like, "No, it's not. I know, I can hear it."
The scene with Black Bolt,
Yeah,
when
sorry.
we didn't know, when the screen was off, I had to cover my ears because it was so loud, and we didn't know why it was making that noise. I thought something else had broken because of that noise it makes.
Wow.
Oh yeah, so Illuminati. What do we?
Yeah. It was cool. It was like,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
fun.
It was a
Well,
nice
like-
way to show how powerful Wanda is, right?
But yeah, that's exactly what it was. A way of us being like, ooh, we know these people, we know what they're capable of, and to see them just get mercilessly just ripped apart.
Yeah.
Like Captain Carter's death was just like.
I mean, I think the most impressive thing is Wanda beating Professor X in a mind battle.
Yeah.
That was amazing. The least impressive thing is somehow Captain Marvel being killed by a statue.
I don't understand this.
Yeah, that kind of
did make sense.
That kind of sucks.
Right? Like she can literally take like an energy blast through a building and then a big statue fell on her. Oh yeah, she's dead. What?
She punched through like 4 walls before. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, but I think something weird happened with her powers before she hit that. Like I got the impression that Wanda like stripped her of something.
Maybe they'll do the thing like George Lucas did in episode 2 and add sparks so it shows that her powers aren't working.
Why does it always come back to Star Wars, guys? Seriously,
because
it's iconic.
I think they were good. I really wish we got to know them a little bit more. That's the only thing. Like people who are gonna watch this, they're gonna be like, "Who the fuck are these people?" That's cool.
Fair enough.
Like
fair
randos.
Enough.
But it would have been nice to see.
I feel like a lot of people really aren't going to know who Black Bolt is.
No,
I'd say Black Bolt's the only one that I think is like really like.
But you see the demonstration of how his power works.
Yes,
so
absolutely. And anybody who has watched, what was the show that was terrible?
Inhumans.
It's just called Inhumans. Yeah,
it was just called Inhumans, wasn't it? It was fucking terrible. I watched 2 episodes and I was like, I can't do this.
What a waste.
What
a waste.
Yeah.
But he got redeemed. Yeah, no.
Yeah, he did. And comic accurate costume, which was nice. All of them were pretty.
His death accurate. Was spectacular. All of their deaths were fantastic.
Horrifying.
What mouth? Oh my god, that was amazing.
Yeah, what mouth? Oh,
the sound of his voice exploding in his own head.
Like,
I want to say, like, isn't it so cool to be that guy who like was in that terrible show, gets to come back to be Black Bull, and he says exactly 2 words for like his entire day of shooting. It's so good.
Yeah. His
pretty
I'm
good
sorry,
for $1 million probably or whatever they paid.
His I'm sorry to Doctor Strange was amazing, and it was a whisper, and you just see him dissolve. Oh my god!
It makes me so much now want to see World War Hulk, where Hulk went. I know it's a scroll in it, they revealed it in the comics, but when Hulk like Black Bolt goes, like you can't be here, and Hulk's like, I didn't come here to listen to you talk. I came here to make you scream. Yeah. When you see how powerful Black Bolt is, and like you're like, oh, Hulk's real mad.
Oh man, what good is a phone call if you cannot speak? That's what Harcroft wrote.
The Matrix.
Oh yeah.
Reference.
What did you? Well, of course, that's a reference to the Matrix, right? Like that exact.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, anyone else want to talk about the Illuminati? Or are we good? We're good. I do wish we saw that a little bit more.
I liked the fight between Mordo and Strange, where there was like basically just hand-to-hand combat, showing that they do train that stuff.
Were you guys a little bit sad that the original Baron Mordo wasn't in any of it at all?
Yeah. I think that was something where the trailers show Mordo and you're like, oh, it's a continuation of that amazing end credit scene.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. So again, like I'm glad I didn't see the trailers.
That would have really overcomplicated things.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But I think it's kind of interesting that like Doctor Strange at one point is like, oh, you know who I am. I know who you are. You're the guy who is sworn to kill me and like kill our people. Like, so obviously he has had run-ins with Mordo already at this point, or at least is aware of what his ultimate mission is. Yeah. And I want to know, where's that storyline? Where's that part of it? That's the story I kind of want to have next. So I'm really hoping that our 3rd Doctor Strange movie is all about him and Mordo and that kind of thing. Like that's really what I
don't normally talk about, like fan theories or fan projects, but Benedict Wong has said he'd be willing to do a TV show about that 5-year gap when he was Sorcerer Supreme.
I'm fucking so down for that.
That would be so good. Now we're talking about, like, if Mordo survived that too, then he would totally be running around during that period. Oh, that's just the totally
so
new idea.
It's like fucking Sherlock, but instead of Benedict Cumberbatch, you got Benedict Wong.
And I could always use more Benedict Wong in my life, so right? Good. Let me see. What did I write down? So we are in phase 4. We have Spider-Man. We have Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Loki, WandaVision, and now Moon Knight.
So I have one funny thing I wanted to say about Moon Knight before we get into that. I've been developing this for a while, guys. Give me a second.
Oh,
But
here
he
it is.
didn't watch the
Okay.
last episode, mind you.
Yeah, I only got halfway through, so
that's okay.
But I've said this many times now, and it keeps getting better and better. The MCU is where actors who got screwed in Fox movies, Warner movies, and even Star Wars get to redeem themselves.
Yep.
And I love how Oscar Isaac, he gets to play two characters because he got fucked over twice because he was he was in
X-Men
Star Wars,
Star Wars.
and he was an X-Men.
When
and
is
both
Matt
of those
Damon-
characters were crap.
When
X-Men.
are Matt Damon and Bill Pullman and Drew Barrymore getting to show up for what they did to Titan AE, which was not a finished film? Like, what about
No,
Matt
we're
Damon?
talking about
the
superhero
first-
characters,
Matt
okay?
Damon was in the last Loki movie.
Thor. Yeah.
So-
That's true, and he got redeemed there. Yeah. So it's just a matter of time. And I also have a little excerpt here, except for Jared Leto, because unfortunately, by the time he showed up, the Spider-Verse had separated from the MCU. So sorry, Jared, you don't get redemption.
Yeah, we don't need any
I
of
don't think
that.
there's any redeeming Jared Leto.
So
this
Yeah,
point.
but even Anson, he got to like redeemed within the MCU. So anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
So-
Talk about Moon Knight. I just had to say that because I was like, Oscar Isaac got to redeem twice.
So we're really only missing like Topher Grace for a lot of things, right? Like for
True.
maybe
Or-
it'll be
yeah,
Venom in the
forecast,
MCU.
I guess. What'd you say, Eric?
I said maybe it'll be Venom in the MCU.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, because it's separated
I like
again.
being bad.
What? That'd be good.
That's right.
So we have phase 4. We are like, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
You gotta be
6,
close to done.
six titles in it, and we still have a shit ton more. We have Thor, we have Ms. Marvel, we have the Marvels, we have Ant-Man,
Guardians 3 is a part of it.
Guardians
or no?
3.
Oh my gosh.
We're like, when we were this far into the last 3 phases, we knew where we were going. And we seem to know that it's going towards some sort of. We know that Kang is the big bad because he's been introduced in Loki, although he's not really been shown anything. Does it feel like it did in the last 3 where we know where we're headed? Or is this sort of just like pieces, and we're still in the pieces phase?
I think they're borrowing less from the comics now, is kind of where we're headed. Even though I think we'll get something akin to because Secret Wars was on their docket at one point. They had straight up said, we're going to make a Secret Wars.
I think it still is, actually.
But I think like they're remixing. Like this movie doesn't really resemble the comics. It has people from the characters.
I forgot
comics,
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
TV show.
But like nothing in this movie,
Hawkeye.
like it's not like when you go and watch, the first Avengers movie and you're like, oh, I mean, I've seen the Ultimates. I've read that. I've seen the Ultimate Avengers cartoon. I know what's going to happen here. But I don't think we can fucking guess at this point.
It's diverged so much, and sorry, go ahead.
It wasn't Secret Wars that's on the docket. It's Secret Invasion that's on the docket.
Secret Invasion,
Yeah.
Because they've already got like Skrulls like replacing people. But I mean, I don't know if it's reversed or what, because it looks like the Kree are the bad guys. But regardless, I feel like they're still putting the pieces in because the TV shows to me were meant to uplift secondary characters to make them primary characters, right? But I think they're still introducing new primary characters. So it's not all, but like Doctor Strange, I think is the first inkling of stuff to happen.
I think Loki might have been actually the first inkling.
Yeah, maybe Loki. Yeah. Well, no, Loki, officially, I think is the first significant step. But yeah, I have no idea what's happening, and I'm fine with it. It's okay. I love it.
I don't know if Secret Wars is the end game or if it's like a mid game to get to somewhere.
It might be like the Civil War version of something that we're gonna get. You know what I mean? That kind of like it's a big moment, but it's not gonna be the big moment.
Yeah.
But who knows? I just don't know.
I wonder if Kang, if they're doing the Buffy thing where they introduce one big bad, which is like Kang, and then there's actually a bigger bad.
That's what I'm. Okay, so my hope obviously is like Kang. I want him to fuck shit up. I want him to be crazy and like it cause a lot of shit. But then I want there to just be a moment where Kang gets bitch slapped to the side and in walks Doctor Doom to say, "I'm gonna fuck shit up."
That would be amazing.
That's
do
what
that. I'm hoping based on the last 2 movies, which is very little considering how much longer the phase is going to go, that it's more of a team effort because all of these TV shows have ended with a new evil organization or villain in place, right?
I see.
Like we've got a power broker, we've got like Shang-Chi's
10 Rings.
sister.
10 Rings.
The 10 Rings is back
10 Rings.
now, and they're bad again, right? Probably,
Yeah.
right? It's like every movie's introduced a new one. I don't know what's going to happen with this Wanda situation now. I mean, is she dead?
Do you think
I don't know,
Wanda's
right?
dead? Do you guys?
No,
I don't think so.
And she'll probably be, she'll probably be good when she comes back. I hope. I don't know.
She'll lose her memory.
I don't think she'll
we'll
be
find her in
good.
an institution. That's what's gonna happen. She got bumped on the
up
head.
until this film, each movie had introduced actually a totally new villain, revitalized Zemo. Zemo's now like a main villain again.
Well,
Right?
I mean, I think we all want Thunderbolts, though, right? Like, I think everyone wants Thunderbolts.
Oh yeah. There you go. Right. So yeah, if there's a team of bad guys, that's a very interesting situation, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know where it's gonna go.
I mean, if it ended like Endgame style with like the Thunderbolts teaming up with the Defenders, teaming up with the Guardians of the whatever you want to call it, like just like not in the same way where it's like here's a bunch of armies, but it's like it's just Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Like the opposite, where
love
Cap
it.
was standing there alone against an army, but it's Doom and he's standing against like 7 superhero groups, and you're just like, that guy's gonna beat all of them.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
That would probably make me the happiest thing to see on screen. Like, there's been so many adaptations of stuff that I'm like, I'm so happy to finally have been able to see this. I need me like a comic accurate Doctor Doom, and I need the stakes to be so fucking high. That's what I want.
And it's played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Doctor Doom should be he was Caecilius, because that's the perfect actor.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen would be the most amazing Doctor Doom, I think.
So I missed a couple. I missed a couple things in Phase 4. So we had Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, which I will forever forget.
What are we getting from Eternals? Like, we got one thing from Eternals.
Well, they started bringing Celestials in, right?
So
more so that they're still around. So I wonder if we will eventually get Galactus.
Or the Beyonder.
I'm still waiting. I was going to say that I was hoping that they build up to the Beyonder. Make him the Thanos of this phase.
Galactus isn't that impressive a villain.
I just want him to be done properly on screen instead of a fucking cloud.
No, he's always going to be a cloud. He's going to shoot a beam, a blue light. That's what it always is. Blue light.
I want to see Silver Surfer done right. He was good in the last
version of Silver Surfer was terrible.
No,
he was Jones did a good job in the physical, and I think Lawrence Fishburne. I almost said Morgan Freeman. Jesus Christ.
That's the next one. The next one will be Morgan Freeman.
I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
So we got Spider-Man, and then Doctor Strange, Thor: Love and Thunder, the Black Panther is coming out, and then Ant-Man. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Didn't they switch Ant-Man and Black Panther or something? Because Black Panther had injuries or COVID. Right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Then we get Guardians, which is filming right now. The Marvels, which is almost
Guardians just wrapped filming, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, James Gunn just said they wrapped.
Fantastic Four, which will probably get delayed because they don't have a director anymore. Blade, and then we have the TV series. WandaVision, which we had, and they're not making another one. Falcon and Winter Soldier, we don't know if they're going to have a second one. Loki, which will be getting a second season. What If, which is going to get a second season. We didn't get a Watcher, which really pissed me off in this movie. Hawkeye, which is not getting a second season. Moon Knight, which we might get a second season. Ms. Marvel, we don't know how it ends, so we don't know. She-Hulk, I forgot about that. I Am Groot, which is... I think it's a cartoon. I don't know if that's going to...
I think you're right.
It's like a cartoon.
Secret Invasion, which is a miniseries thing.
Okay, that's cool.
Please introduce Deadpool, because he had the best storyline in Secret Invasion.
He did.
The baseball park.
That would be a great way to introduce him into this universe, to be honest.
Just killing so many Skrulls.
Ironheart, which is the younger Iron Man.
Riri
Williams, yeah. Armor Wars, which is
Don Cheadle's not getting any younger. When are they going to make that show?
That's supposed to be next year. Echo, which I forgot about. Agatha is getting her own TV show.
There's a lot of stuff.
And then another animated one, which is Spider-Man Freshman Year, which is going to be a prequel. And then we have Marvel Zombies,
which is animated
as well. So some of those will not really be in.
Yeah, they won't totally connect
in Phase 4, but that's a giant Phase 4, man.
That's a lot of shit. That's a lot of shit.
And that's in the next 2 years. So that's a lot. Yeah, most of that's the next 2 years. 2 or 3. Depending on Fantastic Four now, because it's...
if it was
I think it's going to burn some people out for sure.
Yeah,
that's all.
I think 3 years is better.
I think they're doing shorter TV
Star
series.
Wars stuff too.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? The thing is, like, I was at first I was kind of against the whole like, oh man, they're making these TV series too short. But then Moon Knight was perfect
length, right?
Like, it was just the perfect length, and I honestly thought I was going to be disappointed with the finale because I'm like, oh, it's still only like a 45-minute or like 50-minute finale, and I was like, is that going to be enough? It was
yeah.
finale
I'm
was
still
perfect.
trying to wrap my head around the fact that WandaVision was 9 episodes.
Yeah, that's why. Like I thought to myself, that's what we need. Oh, we need those like longer episodes. We need more content. But really, we don't. If the story is told properly, you don't need it.
Make it as long as it needs to be. Don't go crazy. You know.
Yeah.
That's the best benefit of streaming television is like with network television. It's like we got to do a contract for 20 to 22 episodes.
Yeah,
half of those episodes are always filler and garbage, right?
Oh yeah.
So I love like when Daredevil first came out, I was like, oh my god, this is so tight.
Length.
Oh,
so tight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was when I was like, oh, this is the potential. And yeah, no, six episodes. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts on Doctor Strange? I want to go into like, do you guys have any favorite moments that you want to shout out? Like favorite scenes in the movie?
I really loved basically the idea that they did a reverse Deadite. Where
Yes.
the body doesn't need to be alive. But what kind of bothered me also about that was like when Christine was like, they're spirits. You're a fucking sorcerer. And it's like, wait, the only people who can dreamwalk are also people who can control the spirits of the damned. That seems like a bad.
She should have said you're the Sorcerer Supreme.
That's not a very good check and balance system, is it?
Yeah. Okay. So that's where I'm wondering about. I know there,
but
were
it was
reshoots.
fucking cool.
Yeah, there was reshoots for this movie, and I'm a little bit curious if there is actually enough for an extended cut because it felt a little bit choppy in places, and I think it was due to the reshoots, but I'm not sure because there's a couple moments of like convenience contrivance, like what was that when she like gives him his watch, like what the hell? Was that established that he wears it all the time? And she just like, here's the MacGuffin, right? And I'm like, the fuck, right?
I thought he
was like, okay, whatever.
He normally wore that all the time in the first movie.
But it's a very weird, but they didn't establish that in the second movie.
The way it's cut is bad because she hands out the watch, right? When what she should have been doing was like pointing to his wrist and being like, "Hey,
that would have
been better." Because like I can explain it away by okay, he was put in a prison cell. She has all of his shit. Right?
Yeah.
Like in a bag, right? But yeah, that came out of nowhere. And there was like a couple moments like that here and there. It didn't ruin the movie for me. But yeah it's a little bit like what David was saying. Like there's just a couple.
Or like Wong being a total bitch where it's like, hey, like I'm going to kill these 6 people if you don't give me what I want. And Wong's like, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme and I need to protect reality. But you know what? I'm going to do you a favor.
That Minotaur is pretty cool.
Yeah, he is.
I was in the theater being like, is no one going to talk about the Minotaur? Is no one going to talk about the Minotaur?
They didn't even say his name.
I don't know him. I'm sure he's in the comics, but is no one going to talk about the Minotaur?
He got a fucking film credit at the end.
I missed that. What's he called? Minotaur?
I don't remember. I just saw it on the video the other day, and it's
awesome. Rintra.
Yeah.
No, but like the actor who played it got a shout out at the end of in the credits.
Yeah, I think he had a speaking role. Like he had like 4 or 5 lines.
He did have lines. He did have lines. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just thought it was really strange.
He said more than Black Bolt, so
that's
great. He'll get a credit.
I don't think Anson Mount had a credit in there, did he? No, he was a surprise credit.
The Illuminati didn't get like their own little kind of credit thing.
Who played it? I'm wondering. Oh yeah. Any other favorite moments in the movie? Go Hawk.
How about we haven't really talked about Bruce Campbell? I know we mentioned his name a couple times. How about him
always gets paid
attacking himself with his own hand?
Very Evil Dead.
Yeah,
just to hire Bruce Campbell.
Yeah,
get him to punch himself in the face.
There was so much speculation, like about him being in the movie. What role is he going to play? We knew it was going to be minor. We knew it was going to be comical.
Yeah. I didn't know he was in the movie. I mean, I should have guessed. I mean, Sam Raimi movie, but I didn't know actually. So that was funny for me.
Has he not shown up in every single one?
No, he's been in every single Sam Raimi movie.
Like even the drama stuff he did, like A Simple Plan. I
really?
I don't know if he showed up in that or
I wonder.
I just remember he was in freaking Darkman at the end, like just like the very end, right? It's like the last mask that like Liam Neeson puts on.
This movie felt like Darkman at certain parts. Like
Sam Raimi. I mean,
Sam Raimi.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I don't know about good scenes. I just I said, willing to go see the movie again because I had a good time. So
it's worth the second viewing.
I really liked the demon soul cape I just the whole, because I kind of agree the whole you're a source.
Okay.
That was
I was
amazing.
like, all right, sure, but the effect of him pulling them in and them becoming his cape, I was like, that's fucking cool.
That was
and
badass.
I like look over to my wife. I'm like, next time we play D&D, I'm going to be trying to get a demon soul cape somehow. That's what I need.
Be like 50th level.
Does Starla Fell have a cape of the damned yet, or
no?
He's on his way,
Did that get stolen too?
It's on my list.
It's on the on
the list. I want all that shit.
The Fantasia fight is mine.
Oh,
like the piano fight.
That was so cool.
Really
just when he does and then the one thing.
Yeah.
Very well
so
done.
Good.
That was fun. Yeah, that was fun.
Another.
There was another thing that just it's not to do with the movie, but we're watching the credits and I always scan names as it's going through and everything. And a name shot out to me and I was just like, what the hell? Somebody's name was Nacho Dr. Gonzalez.
What? I mean, that's probably like somebody being cheeky, right? Like,
well, no, I looked it up. Nacho Doctor is a visual effects artist.
Of course he is.
Oh, okay.
He's worked on, I got him up here, Aquaman, Spider-Man Far From Home, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Pacific Rim. He's worked on a whole bunch of shit, and I am now kind of obsessed with this dude because I just randomly came across his name and I'm like, what's the story? I need to know.
Okay.
Nacho Doctor.
I'm gonna make a playlist of all movies that the Nacho Doctor has worked on. It's gonna be amazing. That's gonna be a new playlist.
One more question that I totally forgot to ask you guys. Is this movie gonna be necessary viewing in this phase?
100%.
Oh, it's probably the most necessary movie, isn't it?
100%. This is needed.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Doctor Strange going on a random adventure with the bad guy from the last Fast and Furious movie is going to be important. I don't know.
But they could always introduce her in a different
perspective.
Yeah,
like it resolves the WandaVision story arc in a way, I guess. Again, and we already knew there was a multiverse, so it's kind of retreading that.
Yeah.
I think the only the third eye maybe is the one thing, like the Darkhold isn't there anymore, so he's
the thing is I don't think Spider-Man is necessary viewing for the MCU.
No,
because Spider-Man's not important in the MCU anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
But they've got this America Chavez character, which will definitely come into play at some point,
And I mean, Rintra, it's definitely gonna, get his own series at some point.
Could you imagine?
He's a green Minotaur.
I'm sure people are gonna. I'm sure the character's gonna keep showing up now because we're talking about it. Everyone's gonna be like,
I like the idea of almost like in WandaVision where he was trying to hide the fact that he was an android. Rintra's trying to live a normal life, and it's like, honey, does our neighbor look sort of like a Minotaur? And Rintra's like, I gotta go inside and wear a hat. Excuse me.
How about this weather we're having?
Yeah.
If they make a Rintra series, Beta Ray Bill better show up somewhere.
Just all the animal people.
God, that'd be awesome.
All the animal people.
Yes.
Frog Thor, man, I just want it all.
Thor. There's Bob Q is a comic book artist I follow on Twitter. He draws the Alligator Loki comic. That's digital only, I think, on the. I don't know if it's on Comixology.
That was the thing I should have.
But there is an Alligator Loki comic. Yeah.
That's amazing. One more thing. So we have Multiverse of Madness, right? And Loki,
three multiverses.
Loki was all about variances and all of this, and there was no sort of mention of the TVA or any of that. Was that a little bit weird having that series come out first? And I think not most of us, but a lot of the internet was like, there has to be some sort of tie-in because that was very much.
Yeah.
I think the idea is the Loki series has allowed the rest of this to happen, technically speaking. None of this is supposed to be happening. The TVA would be stepping in.
This is one of those things where I definitely park my brain because it's one of those things where okay, where the hell were all these other people when all this shit was happening is always going to be a question in these superhero movies, right? All he did was go to reach out to Wanda and that was it. And then all the shit went south, right? There's so many other people he could have contacted, okay? So yeah, I don't really question it too much, but it's a good point. I mean, is there a difference between variances and incursions?
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
It's not really the same thing, right?
No.
And plus, I don't even know what the TVA does now, right? Like, it's completely been
That's fair.
reset. Like, it's not the same TVA anymore, so I have no idea.
I mean, who's the other person he would have reached out to? Like Hank Pym. That's it, right? Because that's the only person who might understand some of this shit.
With the quantum mechanics and everything.
I don't want to sit down and think about it, but there's
no Iron Man
to be useful. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, Captain Carter was
look what Wanda did to every superhero.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Captain Carter was one of the last ones who survived. I mean, as in the fight, I mean, she got pretty far. So, and a normal person with superpowers, like with super strength, can do some good.
Yeah.
But I mean, still died anyway. But I mean,
what we needed was Nightcrawler, just to teleport in, take her face, teleport away, and to fight.
you and your D&D solutions.
I'm telling you, dude, evil Nightcrawler is one of the most powerful characters. That's why he refuses to kill people, because he'd be too easy.
Yep.
Wow.
That's fair.
This conversation went in a direction I did not
It did. It got dark.
Evil Nightcrawler. Yeah.
Any final thoughts on Doctor Strange, where we're headed? Anything?
No idea.
Before we're good?
No idea.
We're good?
No.
I'm excited to see Charlize Theron in the MCU.
Yeah,
actually.
I was not
I'm
expecting it.
She's a great
That was a
actress,
surprise.
you know?
By the way, did she open a passage to the dark dimension?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because that's where her character
we should
comes
point
from.
that out.
She's the Sorcerer Supreme in the Dark Dimension in the comics. She's also the niece of Dormammu in the comics, which is almost certainly not going to be the thing in the case in the MCU.
They can't. No.
That doesn't make any sense. A giant rippling face who's like, "Hey, I'm coming over later. Do you want me to bring a pie or something like for Christmas?"
You still like peach cobbler? Is that good?
Like-
Yeah, good.
Like you kids still playing the N64 in the basement, huh? Uncle Dormammu's gonna come down and play. You know?
Oh my god! I didn't want to read too much into that scene, and now we've gone way overboard. But yeah, I mean, it was cool to introduce her, but I don't want to read too much because it's just one of these like throwaway, like, oh, we're introducing Charlize Theron, you know. And
Back in my day, we played Atari, and that was all we needed.
Here comes creepy Uncle Dormammu.
I tried to save it. That's it. I'm out.
I want to see an Uncle Dormammu series.
Let's be fair though, Uncle Dormammu is actually though like the creepy guy with the van who's like, kids, you know, like, you want to come live in the dark dimension with Uncle Dormammu? Nobody ever lives, nobody ever dies. Be part of the one. You're like, that sounds like a cult.
This is the series I want with Rentraw living right beside him, and it's just gonna be the best series ever.
Are y'all with Dormammu? All are one. Yeah, this is the place.
I don't think we can top this. I think this
I'm not
is
saying
the end.
anything.
This is how we end the show. We just we fade to black. That's
Uncle
All
Dormammu.
the way in the dark universe? Dang it, Bobby.
Goodness. All right, thank you guys for coming and talking about Dr.
Lovely
Strange.
tidbits.
Lovely tidbits.
Lovely little tidbits.
Thank you, Dave, Hawk, Steve, Marcus, for coming and talking about Doctor Strange. It was a great episode. Like this has been fun talking about. This is a good.
Fun.
Now we just have to see Everywhere, Everything, All at Once. Is that the name of the movie?
Yes.
That was right across the aisle from me. I was thinking, wow.
I could just
And
go
that
right
Nick
over and
Cage-
watch
Take that
it.
a double bill.
I really do
that'd
want to.
be cool.
I might watch that, and maybe that might be our next one because I have to see that movie before it leaves theaters. It's been there for a month, so if you guys haven't seen it, we should jump into it soon.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you out there for listening on the internet. We'll talk to you guys soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, that's it for us this week on Geeks with Kids. If you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at podcast@geekswithkids.ca. And don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/geekswithkids. Follow us on Twitter at geekswithkidscn. Check out our pics on Instagram at geekswithkids. And you can find all of this good stuff on our website at www.geekswithkids.ca. So if you like what you hear, why don't you hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. This podcast can be found on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, and your favorite podcasting app. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.